We followed the 101, which sometimes felt like the PCH, north into Oregon, making our first stop, Eugene, at the premier RV resort of Eugene, Oregon. While checking in, we were told that a cold front was coming through and to expect temperatures in the low 20s. That's about the time I began getting chewed on by my wife for not bringing our heated water supply hose. Our tanks would be okay because we had ducted heat under the floors in the RV, but any exposed exterior lines would freeze in this kind of weather. So our first night we used tank water before heading off to a nearby camping world to buy a new $160 heated water hose. I'm sure I'll be reminded of this regularly.
Platinum seems so shallow, 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 but you are bright white gold. Have never been clearer. I see what you do.
3 days of running the electric fireplace and electric space heater day and night, and we decided to push on to Sandy, Oregon, not far from Portland, in the interview I promised you.
I probably knew that. I think I will be holding on to the one thing that I know is stronger.
A quick side note, being from the desert Southwest and not accustomed to or equipped for truly cold weather or road conditions, we promised ourselves that once the mountain roads were suggesting traction tires or chains, we would begin heading south.
They made us lose our focus.
We pulled into the Mount Hood Village RV Resort, nestled into thick cedar and pines. It just so happens to sit on the banks of the Salmon River. The park is beautiful with many amenities, to include a large laundry facility, indoor heated pool, store, cafe, and senior center, to mention a few. During our stay there, we bumped into another traveling YouTube family, the Chicks Like RV Travel. Well, the dad anyways, James. A very nice person doing great things with family and making their dreams come true. The western side of Oregon, the demarcation being the Cascades, is lush and green, with prolific rains, and the eastern side seems stark in comparison. But with many farms, open land, and not near the rainfall. Both sides, in fact the entire state, is beautiful in its own right. Remember when we said that we'd ask a wildlife biologist what kind of, and if it was, a nest at all at the Bixby Bridge? Well, here's the interview with one of Oregon's top wildlife biologists.
Deep down, I probably knew that.
And you are an expert in the field of wildlife biology, is that not correct?
That's correct. I'm currently a wildlife biologist and spent multiple years as a raptor biologist.
Very cool. And one of our trips that we went on when we were coming up the coast in California is we noticed that there was a large bridge, I think it was Bixby Bridge, that had a big alcove in it where there were a bunch of sticks and twigs that had been put in there. We were thinking it might be one thing, but we wanted to get your opinion on what you actually thought that might be.
Yeah, after looking at a couple of the pictures you showed me, it looked like the sticks were placed in kind of a messy fashion. There may have been some colorful objects in there, which is pretty typical of a common raven nest. Now, you never know for sure until you actually see what animal's incubating on that nest, or bringing prey items to the nest, or you physically see the animal on it, but in my opinion, it looks a lot like a raven nest.
Oh, very cool. And that's the reason that we always want to go to an expert in the field, because if I start pontificating on my own, I usually end up making a bad decision. So, and you said you work for Oregon Wildlife?
Yeah, Oregon Fish and Wildlife.
And your name is?
I'm Kurt.
And what's your last name?
You know my last name, Dad.
Thanks, son. I appreciate it. But it is good to get help from an expert either way.
My pleasure.
You might recognize one of the initial places Kurt took us to here in Oregon if you're a movie buff. Take a look, and then I'll give you a few more hints. Its real name is the Timberline Lodge. The name given to it in one of the movies it was used in was the Overlook Hotel. The director? That was Stanley Kubrick, and the movie was released in 1980. Need a few more hints? Well, the actors include the likes of Scatman Crothers, Shelley Duvall, and of course, Jack Nicholson. That's right, The Shining, story by Stephen King. Built during the Depression in 1938, it sits at nearly 6,000 feet above sea level. The hotel was also used in Peter Farley's 1994 Dumb and Dumber. One other interesting note is that the lodge intersects the PCT, or Pacific Crest Trail, and becomes an oasis and resupply station for thousands of hikers all summer. If you walk out the back of the hotel, Mount Hood is at your doorstep, rising to 11,250 feet, and is a potentially active stratovolcano formed by a subduction zone on the Pacific coast, and is the highest peak in Oregon. It certainly is a place worth some aerial photography.
Love is blind and no one's perfect. Platinum seems so shallow, 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 shallow. But you are bright white gold. With you by my side, I'm not worried. I think we'll be able to find ourselves again. Blank expressions, empty words, nothing.
We plan on spending as much time as we can before the weather takes a colder turn, investigating this side of the Cascades. In fact, we will tour some of Oregon's wonders in our next video, including waterfalls, beaches, and a little of the flatter lands to the east of the mountains. We're looking forward to seeing our oldest son, Drew, and his two boys, our grandchildren. Hope you follow along to see what we come across. By the way, don't forget to like, subscribe, get notified, and share our videos on YouTube, and check out and like our Facebook and Instagram posts. Until next week, travel safe.
Empty words, nothing can keep me away from you. I think I will be holding on to the one thing that I know is stronger.
Yeah, one more take. Until next week.
Platinum seems so shallow, shallow, shallow.
Okay.